Hello, bonjour, buenos dias, namaste, hajime mashite, ni hao, assalamu alaikum. Everybody out there on the internet, welcome to TKKN for January 2023. So yeah, um, I'm adjusting this as I go because I'm not sitting the usual way in my chair just because I didn't want to set this up, and it's like I just want to like start recording because it's like, dude, if I take the time to like set this all up, it's like it's whatever because I don't really need to. It's whatever. Anyway, or just like the way I have this now, it's just there's a lot of stuff on the floor. Well, there's not a lot of stuff on the floor, but there's it's just there's an inconvenience to me if I take the time to do this because I'm just gonna move this chair back to the way it's facing, and I need to move this chair forward, and it's a whole thing. And I just like and like you know what, whatever. Let me just record from where the crap's at, and I'll just get through it. Whatever. I've done however many of these. I can totally just do one where it's like a bit of a borked setup. I completely effed up that intro, whatever. So yeah, try and take it if you don't know. Basically, the three main things. So we've got videos I'm working on for the channel, change the stuff on the channel, and then IRL stuff. And then under the videos I'm working on, there's subcategories: playthroughs and streams, vlogs, DIY, do-it-yourself stuff, how-tos and other stuff. I may be for I might be making I may be making for the channel, and then the other two categories don't have subcategories because they are things that happened or didn't, with anecdotes and asides sprinkled in. I can kind of just go off track and start talking about whatever, man, and just it's a whole thing. Um, but yeah, this one I picked up a bunch of stuff off of eBay this month. Long story. I'll get to that at the end of IRL because it's IRL stuff. And you know, yeah, that I might have a new segment come into the channel. So I guess I'll get to that when I get to that. But yeah, so videos I'm working on. So played through Forspoken. I enjoyed it. There's I've got my phone. I enjoyed that game. I know there's like a lot of what's that word called on the internet right now? There's discourse. Yes, discourse on the internet about the banter or dialogue in the game and how it's all it's so cringe or whatever. It whatever, man. I didn't find it that bad. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like Mass Effect Andromeda, honestly, where it's like game comes out and it's like there's so many aspects of this game you could like talk about or focus on, and it's like, oh man, the facial animations, what? Or just like what is the nitpick that the internet's going to come up with for this game where it's like we're just not going to talk about some of the other things in this game that we could talk about because we're going to talk about this thing. I just realized I should probably turn the light on because the lighting is kind of not so good, but whatever. We're gonna soldier through here because I'm not redoing this and I'm not restarting it and I'm not editing this. So, but yeah, Forspoken, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Um, no new game plus, so that's a bummer. But there's DLC, so looking forward to that. I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna sit here and like do a review of it, but if you're in open world games, or if you like fantasy stuff, or you like, let's see what else. I believe it's Isekin or however that genre is called, where like you're whisked away to another world. Think like Neverending Story, Wizard of Oz, stuff like that, where it's like, oh man, I'm all of a sudden in a magical world that's not the one I was in on the Earth realm or whatever. That Earth realm. Not. I mean, Mortal Kombat could kind of be considered that because it's like they do go to like some other realm and it's called. Anyway, let's not get into Mortal Kombat. That'd be weird. But that's I guess you could technically call Mortal Kombat an Isekai. I'm saying it wrong and I don't want to say it wrong because I don't want to sound stupid. But like whatever that genre is called, where you're just like another world that's not Earth, and you go there and it's like you have fun times of adventure, and yeah, yep, you have a nice old time. Also, I've got a bandage on my arm because I just came back from a doctor's appointment and I got another effing uh, lab work blood drawn session. Fun times. I'll talk about it in our IRL section too. It's kind of well, it's not a total bummer because it's like I said last time or whenever I last talked about my whole condition. It's not dire, but it's like man, it sucks because it's like oh, didn't have that before, but I do now. Uh, So you're looking at stuff that's on the channel. Oh, nice. It's all loaded up on the first page here. I don't have to worry about looking back. I can just look at the first page. It's all January forward. I did play Genshin Impact a bit. I know I said something last time about I'm going to say this segment is different or like call it a different name, but I kind of forgot and I didn't put it in my notes. So we're just going to roll with it. But Genshin Impact, dude, not so much. Kind of. Okay, I'm not going to say kind of. I feel like that game. I don't. I mean, I guess, maybe eventually it gets good, but then people just play it because of the waifu stuff, and it's like, that's what you're into. But I played it, and it's like, I'm not out of the prologue yet, but that game is like not paced very well because that's a very long prologue. It's yeah, I don't really want to go back and play it because it's kind of just nonsense of like excuse plot, and then there's a big bad, but then it doesn't get resolved or like really um even mentioned for like a long time, and they just like off ramp you into the world to like go do stuff, and it's whatever, dude. It's like all style, no substance, I guess is what I'll say for that one. Because I was like actually expecting it to like be good, because I'm like, oh, this game is really really popular, right? Like, so many people play it and I'm liking it. It's like I played it and I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing maybe like the elemental stuff plays a bigger role like towards the end game or like later on, but I don't know, man. I wasn't feeling it. I plan to go back and like get through the prologue eventually. It's just like I thought it was funny. The prologue was like, how long did I play this game for? A prologue of over 8 hours, and I'm still not through it. So so yeah. So Field Chronicle, I will finish that game. I just haven't gone back to it. Because I'm currently on the hunt for a fifth game for my top five games of last year, 2022. So I've got four. I need five. Field is not making the cut. It's not a bad game. It's just not that game. It's not the top five game. So I need a top five game, and I canceled my Game Pass, so I can't go and play Vampire Survivor. Also, I'm sorry about the camera shake. I got my laptop on the chair, but it's on the edge, so every time I touch it, it's kind of like wobbly. Sorry. So unprofessional, taking Chris. Oh. So besides that, got some Gran Turismo in here. Played some Stories, The Path of Destinies. I've been meaning to play that. Okay, so I have like a word. Man, this sucks not having full movement in my arm. I have like a Word document on my phone where I have like a bunch of games, and then like there's like stuff in my back like I want to go back and play, and I've got it like by like the time that it says on how long to beat, and it's like 12 or less hours games. They're like shorter games I can probably get through in one sitting, and that was on there. But that game was pretty good. So it was interesting and good, but I enjoyed it. But it was a nice little game that had some Arkham combat in it, and I was like, oh, I was like playing it. It was weird. It was like a flashback because like I remember back in the day, it felt like Arkham combat was like the way. Like this is the way. Like this is it. Like cannot be topped. Everything is gonna use Arkham combat forever, and like it's like now you play that stuff and it feels like a throwback of like a time of like well before time I guess because it's nothing now. And then it's like, oh, this uses Arkham Combat, cool. But you look around now and it's like, we use Arkham Combat. Not even the Arkham games. So, yeah, that happened. So, I mean, that doesn't bother me. I love Arkham Combat. So it's like, whenever I see it in the game, I'm like, yeah, it just takes me back. And then you just get into it and you're just like, yeah, just building the multiplier and doing your moves. And it's like, yeah, and it just, it feels so good. And then you're just like, man, no games use this anymore. And it's like, that's such a bummer to me because it was just, free flow style, so good, and then dropped completely, gone from, negated from existence in the gaming landscape. Okay, not really, but like, I think what happened was like, Souls like just got so popular, and just that is a completely different style and like a slower pace of just like like a well for like I don't play those games, but like, I watch a lot of streams of that stuff because it's like it's not for me, but it's like I'll watch it and just like watch the it's like it seems like a very like a slow, violent, like just like slugfest of just like a fight to the death. Well, it is a fight to the death essentially, cause like especially like the boss rooms, because it's just like you have like a massive, usually it's like a massive boss creature, and like you're a much smaller humanoid player character, and it's just like those fights are. I mean that's like the way it's framed though, because it makes it so epic. But like because like the mechanics, right? It's like, you make it very like you're limited in like movement and speed and a lot of things to like make it. It helps create that illusion, right? Of just like you're taking down a big bad, and so it kind of like leans into that so good. But then because of that, it's so far away from the stuff I prefer to play. I mean, I'm fine with that because it's like the Souls likes are gonna have their day. It's not gonna be like this forever. Just look at like every game genre that's come before, where it's like, oh, that was super popular for a time. Like nothing lasts forever, as far as like, oh, this is gonna be so popular and then stay popular forever. I mean, maybe FPS has been pretty dominant, not dominant for like a long time, but I would say like, but there's also like the issue of like peaks and valleys and like audience retention and like growth and whatever. So it's like, I like FPS, but I don't like every FPS, or like I'm not gonna play every FPS game. So this whole kind of worms getting off topic. But back to Demon Souls, or Souls likes rather, and like Arkham. It's like just different styles, and then like that's popular now. And I guess that like also helped take away from the allure of that Arkham style. So maybe and other things that like I'm probably forgetting that are out or just came out and then were good and popular, but then they just faded away. And it's like, the tried and true for the Souls like stayed, and that's what we got stuck with. But yeah, that's just an observation I was thinking about when I was playing that. I've got some. Oh, okay. So on my hard drive on my PS5, I had a bunch of share buddy, share, blah, 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 share, bu- share, blah, 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 share videos or create button videos. So I went through all those, uploaded a bunch. Some of them aren't up yet, so look forward to that. And some of them I just just got off the hard drive, uploaded them, and so I could delete them because I was trying to make space before Forspoken came out because I know I needed a good amount of space for that game. And then I didn't know how much I would have after that and Monster Hunter, so I'm good on space, so it's like nothing to panic about there. So that's good for now. Um, so I I got through that, but there's a lot of like random videos if you're wondering like why that happened or why I like uploaded a bunch. That's what happened. And then I'm trying to like have parody on my channel to where it's like I have the stuff I'm putting on my PS5 when I like just randomly play something. I'm like, oh, that was cool. Share button, upload it. Like I want to like put it on YouTube, but then I also like usually, but not always. I'll also put it on Facebook and like share with my friends. And then also, I'm thinking about making a Instagram account of just gaming stuff because I have a bunch of like, because after what happened with Twitter, right, where like Elon took over and it proceeded to be terrible and just almost died. And then I mean, still up in the air of like who knows what's gonna happen, right? So it's like kind of want to like not put all the eggs in one basket. Not that I had them all in one basket, but I really only have like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and so Instacart. Or it's not. I just said Instacart. Instagram. Yes, not Instacart. Effing Instagram. It's like I was thinking, I could have that be a thing where I just put up like screenshots and gameplay clips on YouTube or onto that, and then I just thought it'd be like a funny thing of like I never put pictures of myself on there. It's always just gonna be like me in character, or not in character, but like me playing whatever character I'm playing in like whatever game I'm playing. So it's like a simulacra gateway type of thing where it's like oh, I'm in this game I'm Aloy, in this game I'm Frey, yeah, or Frey, like I'm, first spoken protagonist has like a name where it's like I think of that character from like the Norse mythology, but it's like I don't think it is the name. It just sounds a lot like it, so I'm just like, is that the name? But then whatever. Anyway, her. In this game, I'm a monster hunter, and this is my character, or like my custom character, or like yeah, just custom character parade of like all the different custom characters like in Mass Effect and whatnot. Or like in this game, I'm Geralt. In this game, I'm effing Cloud Strife, or Squall, or Zidane and company, all the Final Fantasy stuff. So I thought that might be fun. So I'm thinking about doing that because like on the one hand I was like, okay, well PS5 just came out, so it's like I'm not that far behind on like all the games. But then it's like because I didn't start when it first came out, I don't have all the stuff back from launch going forward. So it's like I missed a couple things, a couple like I'm a couple years into the into the library, so we don't have everything in PS5. So it's like. But then it's like, it's just a nitpick. And also I'm on Bumble, and it's like, oh, you should fill out your Instagram to get a higher percentage. And I'm like, I'm so close to 100, but I don't have an Instagram because it's just pictures. Like, why would I have an Instagram? So I'm like, I mean, technically it is an Instagram, so it's like yes, but then it's like my own funny little twist of like, haha, these are not pictures of me. This is my gaming realm adventures. Haha, haha, fooled you, Bumble, and anybody that stumbles upon this. Um, but yeah, that was that. Wow, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. What was I talking? I was like, what was I talking? Like now I'm just like, what was I talking about? What was I playing? Or what was I going on about? Oh yeah. Just like the random stuff I got off of my PS5 hard drive to get space. So yeah, there's that. So that's why there's a bunch of Destiny 2 stuff in Final Fantasy 14 and anything else, and it's like stuff I was just playing. And I just happened to make a clip of something, and like, oh, that happened. Like the Fall Guys thing when I finally got the trapeze transition that took like a good year of playing to finally get that. And like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the attract mode animation, which is pretty awesome and nostalgic. Some Gran Turismo stuff, and yeah, Final Fantasy, Gran Turismo, and Destiny, Fall Guys. Yeah. And then Dead Space Dead Space. So I'm not getting the remake right now because it's going to go down in price because it's by EA. So it's like obviously it's a mega publisher. And I mean, I did just replay it. But before I replayed it, I was like, okay, I remember liking Dead Space, but I don't remember like loving Dead Space. So I played it and I was like, dude, effing yeah, like that game still holds up. Like the the lighting, the environments, the audio is insane in that game. Like just there's like whispers and just like clanking and just like the ambience every there like you don't take any footsteps in that game where you're not like your spider sense isn't like on, or you're just like not on edge and just like what the f is like around the next corner. It's just like that game's intense. I finished that and I was like, dude, I can't even play the remake now because my hands were like sweating. Like every gaming session, like every session I had, I played like three. There's like took three parts, right? So like every time I sat down to play it, my hands would get sweaty playing that game, and I was like, dude, I can't play the remake now because like this is like the original version, and the remake is gonna be like this, but like 211 because the graphics are like updated, so everything's gonna look like amazing. But then like everything that like effing freaks you the f out is gonna be just like even more intense. And then like everything like as far as like technical levels of like the graphic fidelity, the audio, the lighting is even like better than it was before. So it's like I think I'm gonna like take a break. I'll take a break on this one. Come back, when there's like 12 hours of light in June or something, because I played that game on at night sometimes, and I was like, I think I'm gonna stop now because it's like I could keep going, but I think I'm good. I think I'm good for now, Dead Space, and what you've done to me in this gaming session, and how the sweat is coming out of my hands and on my controller. So that I just said that whatever, and so yeah, but yeah, Dead Space, man, like still holds up. But then it's like there are like issues with that game where it's like where it's like I just gush all over Resident Evil 4 and like it's a masterpiece and everything. I mean, in hindsight though, like Village or Island chapter is kind of weak, but it's still like awesome. So it's like whatever. It's like it holds up. Like it has like I mean, it does have its flaws, but it's like, dude, it's like not as Dead Space get to like you get to the end and like not to the end, but like the last third, they kind of run out of notes. They kind of run out of like the notes to play, and it starts to fall flat a bit, but it doesn't completely collapse. It's just like a bit too much combat, a bit too much monster clausity, and like too much action. Like the rest of that game holds up so good because there is like tension and horror, and it's like a legit like that was like an era when like we didn't have a lot of survival horror, so it's like that came back, brought it back. I was like, dude, you can still do this. And then like it's really good like that first two thirds, and like that last third when it gets a bit too actiony, you can like tell just like it kind of feels like even more draining because it's just like like every combat sequence is like just it's just combat sequences. It feels like towards the end like too much, but it does effing hold up. So it's like, man, I played that and I was like, dude, yeah. And then like I saw the review scores for the remake, and it's like it's looking pretty good. Like they just did it again and better. Like they didn't pull Resident Evil 3 and like, oh, let's take some stuff out. And yeah, I'm not gonna go there, but we all know how I feel about Resident Evil 3. Well, I guess we don't all know, but like I just or just if there's discourse about that game about how there's certain stuff that's not in there that's in the original, and they kind of blew their blew or yeah Messed up on that one. I'd agree with that. So, hmm. um, but yeah, dude. And then that has me even more pumped for Resident Evil 4 because man, 4 is just it's on another level. It's just so effing good. Like, I mean, I think the thing with 4 is like it is such a reinvention of that game and genre. So it's like it has such a high bar because of that. And so like you go back and play it, and you're like, dude, because I hadn't played it since I played it on PS2, and I played it, and I was like, dude, this is effing amazing. It still holds up. I mean, outside the camera like being kind of X, it doesn't independently, the X and Y are not mapped to left and right stick independently. So it's kind of on the controls as far as like the camera, but like, well, it's not kind of it's just like not perfect. So it's like, oh, real big complaint. It's not perfect. I mean, I think on the Wii though, it's better because you can like Wiimote it and just like look around left, right, up, down. So it's which is why that version is like arguably the essential version to play, or not essential, but the is it essential? The word I'm trying to think of, but like the I whatever the one you want to play. There's a word I can't think of. That it doesn't matter. It's still awesome. But yeah, dude, it's like now that Dead Space came out, and it's like okay, well, Capcom was or EA was able to like hit an easy home run with Dead Space. I'm pretty sure Capcom can just like blow it out of the water because feature, there's a lot more going on in Resident Evil 4 than there is in Dead Space. Sorry, but it's true. And like yeah, they added like what side quests and like backtracking, but like I wouldn't consider adding backtracking a good thing. So I'm just kind of like scratching my head on that one. But if you're like, oh man, that's awesome, then yeah, have fun with that. Um, but yeah, FN Dead Space, man. Like it's if you haven't played the original, you can play the original. It's awesome, and the remake is awesome apparently. But I haven't played it, but it's like apparently it's awesome. So check either one out, and you're in for a fun time, and a quite intense time too. And then lastly, like I said, Forspoken, which was fun. I enjoyed it, and Monster Hunter, which I will pick up and play more today. I'm just making this chat with Tekken first because I've got the time, and I'm like, dude, it's effing last day of the month. Let's do this, and I want to get this video out, and then I can yeah focus on playing Monster Hunter, not to worry about this. So that's all I've been playing, and videos they're up on the channel, and I'm sure there's a better way I can name this segment because I keep saying, oh, I'll change it. But yeah, that's videos I'm working on, and PlayStation streams pretty much the same thing because it's well, not really, because I did say at the end I've got stuff to talk about, so I guess I'll tie it all together at the end. But PlayStation streams, there's a new secret project on the horizon. Horizon. And I'm going to talk about that later, I guess. But I've got some ideas. I got some things. I went into my storage, got some stuff out, and I was like, dude, we could do something here, because like I'm off of work on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so I have 3 days off to like just blow through stuff, which is like what I did last week. I just destroyed it for Spoken. That was nice. I was like, man, that was awesome. And then just like see Daggers like tweet it, or like my reply to my tweet about it. That made me felt good. She's like, Tekken, this game has been out for 3 days. And you put 30 hours, and I was like, yep, yeah, I did. It's like Tekken's back. It feels great, and like, man, I like haven't. I don't know. It's like what was something like I'm trying to think like in my brain like what was like gone before where I just like didn't have or just didn't play as much as I do now. But I don't know what it is. I think okay. I think I know like one thing is like my near death experience. But like besides that, besides the whole like colon thing, I don't think like I don't think anything's different. Like I still play like at the same like amount in intensity. So it's like I don't know like what happened to where it's like. But I think now it's like it's more purposeful because like I did have that near death experience. So I was just like it's like it stuck with me, and I'm just like So it's like yeah, it's personal now. It's like okay, I got this YouTube channel. I'm gonna effing play all these effing games. Let's effing go and just yeah, it's like a whole thing. And it's like yeah, and I'm wearing my Dragon Ball Z or my Dragon Ball Super shirt, and it's like I wear this when I do my workout every day because I've been doing that. I've been doing my reps, get my reps in. I'm like back on the well I've been like trying to do this, but like I just hadn't been as consistent, and then I got sick, and then I was like okay, after I'm better I'm definitely doing this. But like I might be making a video about this eventually, about like my whole daily routine. Well, it's not daily, but every day except for Monday I've decided I did like every day this week, and then Monday came around and I was tired, and I was like dude, I need to rest. So that's that's the whole thing to look forward to maybe for a well, I guess not a playthrough stream. I could have put that in the vlogs next segment, but whatever. But as far as like playthrough streams go, so yeah, I'll just say this right now. There's like three tiers. So new release games, those are at the top, which is basically like whatever year we're in. That's a weird way to talk and say it, but like the stuff that's coming out that year that's new, that's always going to be like the top of the list. So for Spoken Now, well after I finished it, Monster Hunter, and then and then next month, The Eight Rhythm and Destiny 2, Lightfall. But then just the campaign, because like I'm in my brain, I'm like working through how am I going to get through these games as service games and live service games, and I think it's just like if I just stream the main scenario of like the story, but like play everything else off stream, that's like completely like optional content or like not main story stuff, which is like most of it anyway. Because it's like once you finish it, you're in the end game, you're just grinding for better crap anyway. So it's completely irrelevant to, or not irrelevant to play on stream. It's just like not as good of a presentation in my opinion of just like doing the same stuff over and over. As I said that, I was thinking, like I said, or I was gonna say, like doing the same stuff over and over and just trying to get better loot drops. And like as I said that, I just thought to myself, like the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over. And then I'm just like, effing live services, man, effing games of service. It's just a jumble of insanity. That's what it is. I just had an epiphany while while I do my Chime again. That it's all insane. Like it's just all insanityness of just like chasing loot, better drops, better weapons, better DPS. That's all it is. But PlayStation streams. That's like okay. The first tier, like I said, there's three tiers, three buckets. I that's another thing I call it. It's like three buckets. That's another way I think of it. But like I said, like new release games, and then what I'm calling backlog games, which is basically games that didn't come out that year, but like I have or I own and I want to play or I have played or started playing, but I haven't gone back to. But or like it's basically anything that didn't come out that year that you can go and play, and it's like okay, it's on the backlog, and I have it or I started playing it. I need to go back to it or I need to start it finally. Like F in 2020 pandemic year when I played through Witcher finally, all of it. That was pretty epic. In Final Fantasy 14, I played Division, and yeah, I was like, man, I played all of Witcher in 2020, and just I got through that like that chunk of backlog. I played Skyrim too. Like I played so many like 2020, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, it was like a terrible time, but it's like looking back, that was a pretty good year for me for like as far as like backlog goes, because I cleared a lot of it. It's like all of Witcher, Skyrim, and that's like two games people bounce off of a lot. That's like I was able to stick with and get through. So I was like, yeah. Um, and then like yeah, just it yeah it. But like I said, the second tier is basically anything that's in the backlog that's it's not a new release for that year. So it's like if it came out last year, it's a backlog game, and it came out. Yeah, that's the easiest way to categorize it. And then the third tier, the third bucket, which is like the lowest priority, is retro games, which I would say anything that's like 10 years old or like 10-year minimum, right? It's been out existence for 10 years. You had it or you just got it or you're like, oh man, that one game from like back in the day I want to go back and play. And like that's like the bottom of the priority list just because it's old, so it's probably a known quantity. And it's like, why am I? It's like you can be like, to a certain extent, you can be like, why am I even playing this game? So whatever. Or just like usually if you go back to an older game and there's something about it, something is amiss, like the graphics might not hold up, the controls might not hold up, but it's like if it's a classic, it's a classic. And like there's a lot of retro games that are classic and really good. So and then as time goes by, there's like more retro games because like back in the day it used to be like only Super Nintendo and NES games, but now it's like dude, we're like 2023 and like 10 years ago it was like what, PS3, maybe PS4. So it's like yeah, you're like that list is going to like continually grow just because in time, like over time, everything is yeah, like it. To quote Altered Carbon, it's like in like even in time, love turns to dust or whatever the quote is about everything. Everything turns to dust in time, even love or something. And it's like yeah, like you know, nothing's going to stop that. The progression of time is just going to keep going forward, and then things are just going to keep aging out, or I guess in this case, aging into the retro, and you can just be like, oh, I didn't get a chance to play this when it was out. It's old now, or like effing I picked up a bunch of games on. Well, I don't know if this is retro, but Bravely Default. Like, there's a second game that's coming out. I haven't played this, and then I got a bunch of crap off of GameStop. I got a bunch of used games off of GameStop and off of eBay this month. I'll talk about that at the end, but like it's mostly retro stuff. But it's like for me, it's new, so it's like that's all that matters. It's like as long as you're, or in my opinion, it's like as long as you're enjoying the hobby and you're playing new stuff that's new to you, or just well, it doesn't have to be new. You can if you just revisit an old title that's old. That's usually how that works because it's not like oh man this old game that is new. With I mean there are certain exceptions, right? Like we just talked about remakes, so it's like Dead Space if you like somehow in 2008 didn't get around to it, and then you're like okay I'm gonna play the remake and then I'm gonna play the original or Resident Evil 2 or I keep saying 2 remake because they remade 2, 3, and 4, so it's just my brain is just like that's like a weird thing. And then like they've got remakes, remasters, and then like effing like his Final Fantasy pixel remasters. It's like the entire or not the entire, but like a lot of the games from like that time. And I haven't played most of those. I've played 7 up. I haven't played 12 or 15. Yeah, 12, 15, and Lightning Trilogy. I have not played those. So it's like I haven't played all of Final Fantasies. Um, but I would like to get around to playing them all. I've played 3 and 4 or 3 and 4. I mean, I've played all of them at like some point, but like I haven't like played through them. Well, 13, 2, and 3, not so much. Cause 13, I got Super Fire in 13. I just didn't finish it, so I just had no interest in the sequels. And 15, I was kind of yeah. When I look back at the trajectory, it's like I almost like stopped playing that series. Like, cause 12, I played a bit of. I was like, I was not feeling it. Most people say they don't like 12. It's like I would say like one of the least popular game series or popular ones in the series. 13 was in development hell for like ever, and then like versus turned into 15, and that was like a whole thing for me of like, well, that's not really a new Final Fantasy. They just put 15 on the verses. That wasn't that wasn't 15, so I thought that was kind of a cop out. And then, but then I played 14, dude. It brought me back. It was the best one. It's the best one in my opinion. Still to this day, I was just like, I will die on that hill. I will fight you to the death. Final Fantasy 14 is the best Final Fantasy in the series, and just like playing that, it brought me back in. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm back on Team Final Fantasy. I'm never I'm never leaving this team. I had doubts, but I'm sorry, and I'm back. Thank you, Yoshi P, for saving the day on that one, because man, that was whew, that was close. I almost left, but I didn't. I'm just like super off topic, man. I'm looking at my thing and I'm like PlayStation streams. I'm just like, and I'm thinking of like, oh, that's right. I'm going through the whole thing about like the 3 buckets and 3 tiers, but that's where I'm at on the channel. Is like if there is a new release game that's like top of the list, and if I finish that month, I'll probably bounce down to like a backlog game or a retro game. So I'll get back to that at the end of the IRL part because I've got all this stuff to go through as far as like my pickups for the month. It's basically just gonna be like a pickup, whatever at the end. I was gonna do like a separate pickup video, but I was like, those are kind of cliche. I don't like to do that, so pass. But yeah, PlayStation streams. That's basically what I'm gonna be working on. And it's like Monster Hunter's gonna be around for a while because Sunbreak's not even out on PS5 yet. And then Lightfall. But like I said, I think I'm just gonna like focus on campaign stuff and like stay away from like in-game grinding crap because it's like that. That's where I fall off on those games, and I just like don't want to like. I want to like actually have a good time with this one, but then it's like after playing so much as I have over the years, it's like I know like what to do to like not hate it. Kind of, not really, because it's not possible. You're always gonna like have that friction with that game. I think of just like of like what you want to do or what you want to get to, but then it's never like a smooth. It's never like a nice, frictionless transaction. It's like, oh, let me sit here in the strike playlist and grind out this or this quest or this whatever, or go to patrol and do this thing, or just it's a whole mess. But it's a whole thing. We're not talking about Destiny though, so it's whatever at that game. Even though I'm getting it, so that's funny. But yeah, that's PlayStation streams and stuff, and because Final Fantasy 16 is coming out this year, I did want to do a Final Fantasy game each month, but I only thought about this at the end of the month. So I'll probably put up like a short Final Fantasy video at some point today to get that out in January. But I was thinking, like either 16 months of Final Fantasy since it's 16 or Final Fantasy 16 or just like a year of it or just whatever. I think I kind of just want to play through like all of them, like all the mainline ones, just because it's like a new one's coming out, and then just like up to that point. But the problem is like the pixel remasters aren't out yet, so I'm like, if I play through all the old ones, and then the pixel remasters come out, I kind of have to replay them on the pixel remaster version. But it's like that's not really a bad thing because it's like I like those games, so yeah. But it's like that makes it kind of annoying. So there's that too. But I haven't decided what I'm doing because I thought about starting off with tactics. So I was like, well, I already played line 1 on the channel, so that kind of seems weird. But I know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna say what it is. I want to be a surprise. So look forward to that. And then yeah, I guess I really need to make that new channel trailer because at the beginning of the year I was like, dude, I'm not gonna be adding much to the channel. But then like as this month has gone on, I'm like, dude, I kind of like all these ideas and my gears are turning, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, that's a good idea. So it's like if I can just keep the momentum going and keep everything good, stay healthy, everything's looking up. Moving on to vlogs, not a lot of vlogs besides Chairman Tegan and the podcast with Buff. I have an idea for something. I hate when I say that because I don't want to like put it out into like existence, or not existence, but like talk about it and then like never do the thing. But I've been thinking more and more about something else I've like wanted to do on the side, or not on the side, but like another project for the channel and just for like me in general. But I have no idea when I'm going to get around to it. So it's like I have something cooking. Got another brainstorm on the horizon in the brainstorm thunderfields or thunderstorm fields, whatever the F in my brain. So yeah, that. How to DIY and other stuff. Not really anything on that one. Before I go to the changes of the channel though, as far as like playthroughs and streams, right? So for Monster Hunter, when I'm done with the story, I think I'll just be done with it, like I did with Iceborne, where it's like play through the story, be done, and like just don't bother having all the grinding that's in-game stuff until there's like if there's no new story content, like don't bother with it. Like if there's new story content or like new hunts that come out, sure. But then the cool thing about Rise is that all the seasonal, or not seasonal, but all the event quests dropped with the game, so I don't have to worry about waiting for that stuff to come out. I can just like play through it once I get my character geared up for it. So that's gonna be fun. And then like I said, Destiny, just play through the story and campaign. Don't worry about all the side crap. And if something happens while I'm playing, that's like a kind of cool story moment, I can just share about it and upload it later. Like I did the Mara and the Worm. Even though that was taken from a stream, because I have like all that stuff archived anyway. It's like a nice snippet of like there are story moments that happen when you're playing. It's just there's so much of it. It's just or there's so much. There's very little actual substance or substantial content in all of the filler. It's just like 90% filler, 10% like meaty good stuff. So it's just ugh, and you just have to like effing wade through it, and it's such a effing exhaustion, or like yeah, it's like an exercise in just suffering through it and just getting through it, man. But like sometimes it's good, most times it's not though. It's just that game falls flat a lot, but I'm getting back into it because I'm an idiot. So okay, that's not why. It's like I just want to be. I just have a feeling, if this is the last expansion before the end, I would like to think Bungie would do us right, and it would be like an Empire Strikes Back situation, or or just well, I guess that's the analogy I make. Empire Strikes Back, because the finale, like the part before the finale, where like everything's about to happen, stuff goes down, and it's like oh, and just man, so good. Or effing Shadowbringers. That's the other one. Shadowbringers, so effing good. Like, yeah, it's like the expansion before the finale expansion that ends the story arc, and it's just like man, Shadowbringers. You play through that, and there's just I can't even put it into words. It's so effing good. Like the amount of stuff in it, the effing like it's you get both quantity and quality. Like there's so much, and it's all good, and it's just like dude. Are like 80-90% good, like whatever, just like it's there's very few misses in that game in general, and like in that expansion, it's itself is just like flawless. Just it's so good. Like the MSQ for Shadowbringers, dude, still effing good. Just it made me glad I played that game and just kept going with it, or not kept going with it because that was like all in one go for the most part, or whatever. It's just whatever. I'm glad I got into it because I'm usually not a fan of MMOs. And Endwalker was a nice cherry on top, and just all the feels. But then I'm not sure if Disney can do that because I hate that game. So I'm not. That's the other reason I'm like, I don't really care about any of these characters or this universe they've made, and just can they really deliver? Am I going to care about this? And I'm like, well, one way or another, I'm done. So I guess there's that to look forward to. So I know I'm out soon. Finally, even though I keep saying that and I keep coming back, and it's like that's another thing. I have kind of like over the course of Destiny 2, it's like I have been like, I'm no longer playing this game. Oh, I'm playing it again. So it's like I can finally have like a nice out of like, all right, just need to play through all that crap, play through all the story, play through the effing Light and Dark Saga arc. It's done. I'm done. We're done. No more. Done. Finished. So yeah, and then now I'm just like expecting there to be like some sort of like story hook at the end, like oh we didn't tell it all in the expansion. There's something else at the end of this or something. So yeah, my heater just turned on. I hope it's not like super loud, so I'll just like cover this part of my microphone and hopefully it just like doesn't pick up a lot in the background. Sorry about that if it does. But yeah, vlogs, there's nothing happening, and then how to DIY and other stuff not happening, and then changes to stuff on the channel. All right, so nothing is changing, but I'm just gonna like end this part with like a nice little used game pickups I've had over the month, or used stuff pickups, because I've got a bunch of crap. Like I went super over. Okay, I didn't go super over budget, but I went over budget this year at the end of the year when they had the because usually they'll have like the Black Friday sale, that's followed by the holiday sale, that's followed by the Encore holiday sale, and then this year they had the fourth effing quadrilogy under $20 sale, and I was like, dude, I'm tapped. I have no more like my budget is shot. I I don't know if I have any more money. I bought too many games. I didn't even need any more games, and I was just like, dude, well played PlayStation, because that's why I just prefer that model of the Game Pass. I just like to buy a game and play it, as opposed to Game Pass where it's like, oh yeah, this game's in Game Pass, but like when you get around to it before it leaves, it's like a time limit. It's kind of like a, yeah. I don't like it. And that's why, well, that's one of the reasons I canceled it. I don't because I don't need that and all the PSN games. So it's like, there can be only one, like Highlander. The PlayStation just cut off Xbox's head and was like, yeah, goodbye. Anyway, I picked up a ton of stuff on eBay. I also bought some stuff from GameStop because they had like a buy four for 40 for like $20 games, or like it was like 4 for 40 or 4 for something. It was a really good deal. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But here's what I got. So on in this stack, I think most of these are from eBay. One of them, at least one of them, is probably from GameStop, whatever. So Bravely Default, I didn't have this before. Bravely Default 2 is coming out, and I didn't know that they were standalone, to where you didn't need to play the previous game. So that's my bad, but whatever. So, and Square Enix, dude, like, I mean, yeah, I bought it used, so they didn't get any of the money, but like, Square Enix is like up their game. I mean, yeah, they had like a bunch of games they canceled as far as like live service games, like Babylon's Fall, Dead, Avengers Dead, The Last Soldier Dead, or whatever the free-to-play mobile game where you're in Midgar as like soldiers dead. I think there's a fourth one. I can't even think of it. It's whatever. So it's like, that didn't work out for them. But then they had like Tactics Ogre. They had effing the Saga something Minstrel, whatever the F. Another Dragon's Roar game came out, or Isle of Cards, or whatever the F. And then we're getting Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. Two effing like Omegaton. I just said Omegaton, not just Megaton. Omegaton. Two effing Megaton like AAA killer JRPGs this year, in the same calendar year, and one's a mainline game and one's a sequel to like the one of the most revered in the series. So it's like, dude, and Tactics effing ogre. That was like that for me was like such like that surprise announcement when that came out of nowhere. That's probably what I was thinking in my brain. But like Tactics ogre, dude, like when that came out, the remaster, and I've already played through it, so it's like whatever. But there's still stuff for me to go back and do in that game. I was like, dude, Square Enix, I got your back on this one for this year, because yeah, I was like, man, I effing love me some Tactics Ogre, and it's on effing console now. Same thing with effing Crisis Core. Oh, before I continue, dude. So as I'm going through these like handheld ones, let's just think about that. Effing Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core. Uh, it's got a weird name, Reunion, whatever the f. So the remaster on PS5 and PS4 and Switch, and it might not be on Xbox. There's a whole thing about that, but but that needs to happen with a lot more games, in my opinion. Like games that are stuck on handheld that haven't had a port to console, or if you look at like the Konami, the Castlevania, the collections that they ported from handheld to console. It's like I would love to see more games get that treatment that were on console, or I'm sorry, that were on handheld that haven't been on console that like are getting ported or brought over, because it's like, dude, like I man, I just thought about that. It's like, besides Pokemon, I would say there's probably not a lot of like, major franchises on handhelds that console players have even played. So, and then like, yeah, it happened with like the Persona, was it Persona 3 Fez or Persona 4 Golden, whatever. That got brought over recently with all the Persona stuff. So, free the handheld games from the handhelds and bring them to console, please. And then like specifically for effing Switch games, dude, it's like, okay, so you have a TV screen and a handheld device with a screen on it. Or you could like, or there's like a screen in the Switch that's like quite big. Could they, I just really hope that they can like emulate the DS functionality and start bringing DS games to the Switch, because it needs to happen. Like, there's, the DS and 3DS catalog is just too good to just forever like fade into fade into nothing from like not being able to be played on a non 3DS or DS handheld. And it's like, dude, that like bring those games. I mean, yeah, I hate the paywall, but it's like I'd be fine if they brought it to the flippin' Nintendo Online service, as much as I hate to think about that and whatever. But as long as it's able to be played, that's fine. Cause man, Trauma Center, like we never got more Trauma Center, Trauma Team games. Those are fun. Those WarioWares from that era were great. Effing The 8 Rhythm, we're getting another one finally on console. That's cool. I can't wait for that. I was actually playing that because so I went and got my 3DS, right? Because I was like, I wasn't sure like what the deal was with like the 3DS eShop, and then I was like browsing it, right? But then I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't the 8 Rhythm have DLC? And it does. So now I need to like look and see what's the DLC that's going to be in the console version that's like not in that one, so I can just go back and get all that DLC. Because man, because that's the thing, is like even the DLC has like non-Final Fantasy games. There's like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross. There's like a Nier game, or I'm sorry, there's Nier song on like one of them too, and it's just like, dude, I mean, specifically the Square Enix, though, like they could do that like with so many games, with like having all their awesome like tracks in like a music game form, and just so good. Um, that's like a nice little tangent on handhelds and bringing those games to console. But yeah, Bravely Default 2 is coming out soon, but I'm gonna play through like the other ones before that, and it'll be super cheap by then, hopefully. Whatever. I've got it. Like after all these games I picked up, like my backlog just like grew exponentially, because I already like bought it. Like I said, I bought a bunch of crap during the holiday sales, and then like even bought some stuff on Steam to where my like wish list is almost done. So that's pretty cool. So it's like, I'm at the point where like I'm just like gonna be like not getting anything that's not new release, and then yeah, I'm gonna stop growing my backlog for a while here, and just be playing stuff. It's gonna be great. But yeah, then like I said, Bravely Default, and then we've got Bravely Second Inlayer, which I guess is the sequel to Bravely Default, even though it's standalone, so you don't actually have to play it. Or I'd have to look it up on Wikipedia or Ask RPG. I think it is like a direct sequel to Bravely Default, but it's not necessary or something. It's a whole thing. It's weird. And then this game I had forgotten about, Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings. So that's kind of it's neat this game exists, but then it's kind of like messed up because I love Final Fantasy 10 too, and then it's like, what if Final Fantasy 10 2 but on handheld, so you don't actually get a sequel on console? That would kind of be a bummer, but I haven't played it, so I'm looking forward to that. And then I did just play through Valkyrie Elysium, so I've been like big into like the Valkyrie games lately. And I looked them up on eBay, and like the prices were not that bad. So Valkyrie Profile, Covenant of the Plume, which is a strategy RPG game actually. Looking forward to playing that one. And then this one came in a jewel case, and it was which made it even cheaper. Valkyrie Profile 2, which was I have not played yet, Silmeria. Um, I also just want to say, like, if you're listing a game on eBay and it's just the game in the case, and you don't have a like low price for it, go for yourself. Yeah. And then this is another, but yeah, like back in the day, dude, when Square Enix and SquareSoft were like, not, they didn't have those like down years, or like I guess like before PS3, right? Rather, right? Because like PS3 is like when they just like kind of just like went downhill for a bit there. But PS1 and PS2, dude, they were just turning out the hits all the time. But yeah, Radiata Stories. I've not played that game, and I'm looking forward to that one. So then also when I was looking on eBay and GameStop's used game stuff, I was looking for initially I was specifically looking for Xbox One and Xbox 360 games that had been delisted from the store. But since the console's backwards compatible with a disc tray, I can get like the disc copy, right, and then play the hard copy. So I was looking up a bunch of that stuff. So that's like what a bunch of, oh no, I just made a mess. That's what a bunch of these games in this pile are. I'm about to go through as I go through them. If I can get these off the floor real quick, and wow, what an embarrassment. All right, before I begin and continue though, so I did get a bunch of like I said, I got a bunch of GameStop games like used. This one came from GameStop, and it was whatever price, But then, okay, I mean, yeah, it's empty now, but this is how I got this. Like, there was no disc in this game. So it's like after I had gotten basically this one that had like nothing in it, and like effing, just like some of these cases are just like, effing, damn it. I just dropped that. But like this one came in like little, they come in like the little like just like the bad packaging. I was like, you know what, I'm done with GameStop and like buying. I'm like no longer buying used games from GameStop because look at this. And it's like, dude, like. And then I remembered it's all about the profit margin for those a-holes and just like money, money, money. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I just like started getting like looking at eBay listings because I've yet to have like a bad experience on eBay. So, and I had like multiple bad experiences on with the GameStop stuff. Because I think I picked up, I don't remember. Oh, the Arcane Collection. I got that used, and it came with a code with like the games. And then like when I like went to return it at the store, the dude was like, so our used game guarantee is for like the discs that come with the game, and not for like the DLC codes. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, or like I didn't have a reaction to him because I was just thinking this in my brain, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So like, but then, ironically, I got Gears Tactics and the code that came with that for like the Cole, uh, whatever ball costume thing worked, and I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, but I was like, whatever, dude, whatever. I was just annoyed about it. But I was like, after that, I was like, I'm done. I'm not buying a used game from GameStop ever again, unless it's like a cartridge or something, or just not something that's like either on disc or just like has like online nonsense about like it's a code or whatever. Because it's like, yeah, dude, like some of those discs are super scratched, um, and then just like obviously the online codes are gonna be used, so it's like why would you like even bother? Like had I known that before, I wouldn't even bother putting it in my order, but whatever. So I got burned multiple times from like a couple like only a couple purchase or orders from GameStop, and I was like, I'm done. So there's all eBay after that. So I was like, yeah, F GameStop and F buying from them used. Um, is that everything I wanted to say about GameStop? But yeah, anyway, just F those efforts. Forza Horizon 2. So I think this one actually doesn't work because I ended up getting another one off of eBay because the disc is kind of eh. But yeah, dude, because like it was like okay, so like if you install the game, it you can disconnect your Xbox from the internet to just install it because it's just an install file, and it downloads a patch if it has a patch or whatever and downloads stuff because it's just playing a file. If you have a disc in the tray, it's just playing the digital copy. It's just a like weird DRM thing, but the game wouldn't install. It'd get like a certain amount in, and then would say stopped, and it's like, oh, this disc might be dirty or whatever. And I was like, dude, are you effing serious? And it's just like, man, 2023, and I am going through all this BS of like discs that aren't clean, that don't effing install, and just I was over it, man. I was so over it. And I was like, never again. Like I said, I'm never buying anything from those people that's used again. Because yeah, is it cheap? Yeah, but it's like you get what you pay for, and guess what? It's like even in 2023, you have like really bad copies being traded in and accepted, and that's how they make their money. So I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. But like, here's the Forza 2 one that's like borked that came in like little envelope, and then this is the one I got on eBay, and it's like it actually works. Unlike the effing one right here, that's from GameStop. The effing effers. So that's a whole thing. Oh, before I forget, I was also like I said originally, it was like stuff that's like backwards compatible on Xbox and like delisted, but then also stuff that's like exclusive. So, but specifically because I like Dishonored, but like as a PlayStation user, I will never probably be able to play another Dishonored on PlayStation because it's exclusive now. So whenever they have the next Dishonored, it's going to be exclusive to Xbox. So I'm like, well, I kind of want to have all my Dishonoreds on one console and not have like, you know, 1 and 2 on this one and then 3 and 4 not on this one. So it's like I'm trying to unify the series right now on like what platform they're on and not have it be like whoa all over the place. If I like want to play something, I can just boot up a console and be like, oh, it's on here, and not be like, oh, which one's it on? Can I download it? Did they stop supporting it? Anywho, uh, but yeah, as far as like Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport, all these are delisted. I think up to Horizon 4 and 5, and then like Motorsport. I don't know actually. I don't know if you can buy Forza Motorsport 7 digitally or 6 digitally. I just know I got the disc copies. I don't think you can actually because I looked it up. Um, so it's like I had to like get the disc copies because they can actually play these and they're backwards compatible, which is nice. But like you can't just go into the Xbox store and like download it and play it, which is absurd. It's like that's a premier premium AAA game that they have made strides to make better over the years, and it's not even available to purchase digitally. What? And I was like, dude, that's effing insane. And I was like, well, I might as well just like get hard copies of these now. That way, they're not going to be super expensive later on. And I was like, yeah, let's do that now. And then, because I'm looking forward to the one that's coming out this year, and so I'm getting ahead of myself. But like, essentially, I'm going to try to like stream a bit at a time, all of them, from like Forza 1 all the way to Forza 7, and all the Horizon ones too. Um, and then just like yeah, just have like all the Forza stuff, and then when the new Forza comes out, I'll be like, yep, I'm completely caught up, and I've been playing through them all, and I'm ready to go. Uh, Speaking of gone and negated from existence, Project Gotham Racing 4. When's the last time you heard about a Project Gotham Racing game? Oh, that's right, because they bought Bizarre Creations and proceeded to kill the studio. Oh, I don't know if they killed the studio, but like they don't. Yeah, that studio is no longer in existence, and that series is dead. So as happy as I am that um, Obsidian found a home to just like get endless money to make games. It's like, well, that can always turn out bad. Like look at Mass Effect. Just saying, like you can always have a situation where studios purchased, and then it's like it doesn't end well, or it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have a positive ending or something, where it's like, oh, remember Rare? Like, yeah. Speaking of like GoldenEye remaster, that just or GoldenEye re-release, because it's not. It's a emulation whatever. It's a whole thing. But yeah, Rare. And then how many awesome Rare games have we had from Rare since the purchase from Nintendo? Exactly. So it's like, yeah, the future's unknowable. So hope for the best, but don't get your hopes too high because that's when you get let down. Uh, okay, this is Horizon 2, and this is like the case it came in, the one that I was like complaining about. Look at this. Look at this. And like it had a little like thingy in here because like the disc wasn't in the disc holder. It just had like in like the little brown disc holder inside the case, and I was like, dude, why don't you just put it in the case on the disc holder? So yeah, I was not too happy, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of over GameStop, whatever. And then Project Cars, I'm kind of annoyed about because I have the first one on PS4, right? But then 2 and 3 got delisted, and I just didn't bother. I wasn't really worried about buying them at the time because I was like, whatever. I don't really play them too much, but I would like to go back and play them eventually. So I've got one on PS4 and then 2 and 3 on Xbox One and Series. If it's, I don't even know what platform it's on. It's Xbox One, Series X, whatever. So yeah, Forza 7, Motorsport 7. It's funny thing about this one is that I got it for cheap off of eBay auction, but then like the person or like I won the auction, right? That dude, the auction thing is like a whole other can of worms. I'm not even gonna get into it. It's terrible. But like after I'd won one, the person messaged me and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I was cleaning the disc and I cracked the disc while I was cleaning it, so I have to cancel your order." And it's like, "Oh, cool. Okay, thanks for the refund." So yeah, this whole experience on eBay has like changed me to an extent. It's like I appreciate the gray market, but like there are like tips and tricks on like how to get what you want, and then it's like it's weird because it's like you can always try to like just to get something for super cheap, or you can just like pay through the nose and get it like at really good quality but like expensive version. Like if I want to get Xenosaga 3, that's my holy grail game right now because that's like one I don't have, and I looked at the prices and it's like 250 used, and I was like, what? And it's like, dude, you can get a copy of it. You can get a copy of it for like good condition, but it's gonna be very pricey. And it's like, this whole experience has made me been like, why the F can't we just have the way we had it when we had Virtual Console and the PSN store and the effing, Xbox Live Arcade, just like digital games coming out all the time at decent prices and not just like, or just like re-releases, or not releases, but like, and like, for Nintendo and PlayStation, like just the classics, just have that stuff from like the previous consoles put out again at a decent price and not just having to only have eBay as an auction or as an option, and it's just you're paying through the nose, or just resort to piracy and emulation and ROMs and like sell the high seas and hope you don't get caught. It's like it's like your options are super limited. All right, here's another one. I'm not sure if this game works because I put it in and it stopped reading it, but then I looked online and it said that it needs the Apocalypse edition. So I'm not sure if this doesn't run because it's not the right edition, or if it's because the game like the disc is effed. The disc is kind of so I'm not sure. But this is Dead Rising 3. I think it's because it's not the Apocalypse edition, so it's like I'll just buy that. That one's still available digitally, thank goodness. But I'm gonna wait for it to be like super cheap. It was like $10 during the end of the year sale, but I was like, dude, I use a price checker site and it's been cheaper than that, so I'm just gonna wait for it to go to its rock bottom and then I'll pick it up. But it's still available unlike unlike all these Forza games. Speaking of Forza, here's Forza Motorsport 3. I've actually played the first two. I do like the series, and I did goosh all over this for Horizon 5, right? 'Cause I hadn't played any of the Horizon games until 5, and then I played 5 and I was like, these are pretty fun. And so I played 4 on Game Pass as well. I think I actually picked that one up in these pickups. But yeah, so now I've got like basically all the Forza games except for Horizon 5, which I'm just gonna wait for to get super cheap since I've already basically played through all of it. So there's no reason to pick it up for a a high price right now. And then Forza Motorsport 4. You haven't played any of the Motorsport ones after 2. Um, but I did play 6 or 7. No, 6, I think. I did enjoy it. So I'm kind of curious like what they've done with the series since I haven't played any to like, has it actually progressed and gotten better, or did they just like, I think they've made so many of them because there's as many or more Forza games than our Gran Turismo. That series has been out for 25 years, and they pumped out like all these Horizon games and all these Motorsport games in less than that. It's just like, wow, that that is something. So, but then the one coming out this year looks really good, so I'm looking forward to it. And here's Gears Tactics. This is a exclusive to Xbox, and I was curious, like I like tactics games in general, and I was just I was able to find it for a good price too, because it was like for the but yeah, the thrashball thing. This code worked, and I was quite annoyed by it because the effing Arcane Collection code did not, and I was like, are you effing for real? So whatever. I'm looking forward to playing that one though because I like tactical games, and it was on my queue forever in Game Pass. I just never. Well, I downloaded it. I just didn't play it, and I was like, "Dude, I'll just buy it." F it. Like I was able to get it for super cheap. So that was like the other thing is like because I've been buying digital for like years and years, like the entirety of the PS4 lifespan essentially, or the entire last gen pretty much. PS4, Xbox One. Like I only bought uh digital new copies. So it's been a while since I've even bought used games. I forgot like how cheap they get and how fast they get and how you can just get a pretty good deal on stuff. So back in the gray market, I'm like, oh, I can actually, I can actually get a lot of these for like a lot cheaper than I could for the digital copies when they're on sale. And then it also allows me to like pick up games from publishers I hate. So like Konami, I'm not buying from them because of the Hideo Kojima screw job with the whole Silent Hills thing. Like I haven't bought a Konami game since then. But it's like if I buy something off of like eBay or GameStop, or whatever used, it's like they don't get any of that money. So it's like I can go to the gray market and then just buy a used copy, and the publisher doesn't get any of the money. So it's like if I don't like a developer or a publisher, or their like policies, like like Ubisoft or Activision after the whole Bill Cosby thing or Cosby Suite, well, Activision Blizzard, that was a Blizzard thing, and like Ubisoft because they've had like effing uh a bunch of abuse scandals and stuff. I haven't bought man, I haven't bought a Ubisoft game in such a long time. It's crazy. So it's like I can go and buy a used copy, and I can finally play all these games I've been boycotting. And I'm like, yes, I can play all these games from these terrible, terrible, terrible. Well, or I guess the the institution. It's weird. It's like a whole thing, right? Because it's like it's not. It's like, does one terrible person make the entire company bad? Hmm. I guess you could say like kind of. It depends on the context, right? Because it's like if you're harboring a fugitive or something, right? It's like, Anywho, back to the pickups. We got like a few more here. I'm at over an hour. I'm sorry. So Forza 5, yes. And then also another reason I was doing this is because in Forza Horizon 5, I want to say it's like if you had played all the previous ones, you got like all the cover cars. So you had this McLaren right here, and then like so I was like, dude, if I play all these ones that have the sweet cover cars, I'll maybe get them in Forza Horizon. Or not, I'm not sorry, not Horizon, in the Forza Motorsport that's coming out, without having to actually get them, which would be cool. Just to like start each Forza game with like a sweet collection of like decent cars or really good cars in this case. And then Forza Horizon 3, um, haven't played this one yet. I haven't played most of these yet, because like I said, I've got an idea for like streaming them a bit every day. Because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is like when I'm going to be doing like the 3-tier system of like new release game, backlog game, retro game. But then like when I have to go into work, if I have like a bit of time to play every day, I can just like play something, and then like I've got a name for the segment. I'm not going to say what it is until I start it, or the series or whatever, and then just try to play through all these Forza games before the mainline one comes out at the end. Well, whenever it comes out, there's that Xbox developer thing, but they didn't say the release date, so who knows. So I'm thinking it's a holiday game this year, so I've got plenty of time. Well, for now, because there's still Final Fantasy 16 in the summer, and then I mean that being said, like it takes me no time to play those games because it's like I play them all day, and it's like give me a week and I'm done. So that's not the new release games. I'm not worried about. It's just trying to get through the backlog and retro stuff. But now I've got like the secondary stream stuff set up here. Skate 3. I This is the game I think I traded in for the arcane collection when they when it wasn't working because I was like, oh well, do you have any 360 games? Because they're what they had at that store for like Xbox One games was like ugh, and just yeah, because I think it was like the same. It had to be like the same price or lower, and there's like not a lot to pick from. And I was like, do you have any 360 games? And yeah. Oh yeah, okay. I did Dimkey this one, so I do have Forza Horizon 4. This one's got like the case on this one is pretty bad. As you can see, there's a hole right here. Let me look through that. Yeah, see my eye through the hole. Anyway, and when you open it, yeah, I was like, dude, are you effing like, did someone step on this? Like, how does this happen? And I was just like, dude, I'm done. Like, I'm not buying used from GameStop ever again. It was all online too, so it's like I might not have had a bad time if I went in store, but it's like, dude, it's pandemic. I'm not going outside, so that's not happening. So yeah. I was like, I'm not risking my effing health to like go outside and get games. Ugh, I've had enough games. All right, and then we've got Forza 6. This one I actually have on. I wasn't sure if I bought this one, so I'm glad I did because I have it with games with gold. But I think if you cancel your gold, which I have with Game Pass Ultimate, you don't have access to your games that are in your thing. So it's like I currently don't have this, but I do now because I've got the hard copy. So I don't worry about it. I can cancel Game Pass and be like, aha, I can still play it. And then Project Cars 2. So like I said, I've got the first one on PS4, but then I've got effing 2 and 3 on Xboxes. So I guess I'll see if I can get the first one because it's like I'd like to have all three on the same console because it's just kind of weird to like not have them all on one. It's a whole thing. That for me anyway because it's like I just want to have them all in the same place and not have to be like, oh, which one is this one on? Which one's that one on? But yeah, that's not even covering all the PSN games I got on sale. Which I'm not going to even talk about here. I did pick up or not pick up, but like I went into storage when I was in storage to get my stuff, and I did get my Elgato. So it's all set up again. I just need to. Well, for the most part, that's how I'm able to like do some. Or when I do go back to like do some of the older games and like capture them and stream them. Cause it's like I really want to play Project Gotham, but it's like I'm gonna get through all the Forza stuff first, cause that takes priority. And then effing lost my train of thought. I did say something about like all the games I bought, but I could like go through my thingy, go through my browser stuff on my thing on with the Elgato. But then I tried a while ago and it wasn't working. So but I think it might have been because I had it set to 4K and not 1080, so maybe that's why it didn't take the video from the PS5, but I'm not sure, because it's been a long time since I've captured video through the Elgato, because I kind of forgot how, so I need to do that to remember again. But yeah, everything's cool and set up, and all these Forza games I'm going to try to get through before the Forza comes out this year, and then also, like, a bunch of Final Fantasy games, because 16 is coming out this year, so look forward to a Final Fantasy video, hopefully today. It's like, man, I want to go and play Monster Hunter all day, but I need to make this Final Fantasy video, and I'm like, dude, I don't really want to. Let it go for the first month. Yeah, you know what? I can just start in February and be like, you know what? I didn't start until February. It's no big deal. So, but then it's weird because I wanted to play Line War again, but then I looked on my channel. I was like, I already played Line War, so I don't even know now. But that's it for the game pickups. And then as far as like my effing hold up, can you get that in frame? Yeah, my effing blood drawn work I had to get today. So I had a doctor's appointment, and then I talked about this last time or the time before last or whatever. But I do have ulcerative colitis, so my doc or the doctor I was talking to today, he was he's bumming me out, dude, because he's all like, it's a lifetime condition, so it's like I'm gonna have it forever, apparently, and it's a chronic illness. So it's like, but then he said something about like the frequency and the intensity of it is like fluctuates, but because of that, I have to go on this medication, and so it's like, yeah, it sucks because it's like I'm stuck with like a effing medical debt scenario in this stupid effing like trash healthcare that we have in this country of like having to constantly need medication for something like forever. So that sucks. But I'm hoping I can get a good outcome from just good health stuff. Because I watched the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. I mean, I'm not gonna like be juicing all the time because that one was like the whole thing was like the guy was on like this thing where he only ate like this or drank this like formula. But I watched his videos on YouTube and it's like it seems kind of wasteful because you just like put a bunch of stuff in a thing or the. I mean, I'm not the most like adept at like cooking and food and crap, but like he had a bunch of stuff that like he would put into like a juicer and then like make some like drink for it. But then like all the stuff that's left over, it's like he just throws it away. And I'm like, that's kind of wasteful. So I was like, I don't want to do that. So whatever. But like I said, I've been doing my reps every day. So I'm just gonna keep doing that. And then yeah, it should hopefully it all works out. And then I can just all I can do is be positive about it and just be like hopeful. Like I'm usually a pessimistic person, but on this time I'm not gonna do that to myself. So yeah, but that's where I'm at with this. And then got some. I'm supposed to have a effing whatchamacallit, what's it called? Prescription, but they're out apparently at the place where I get my prescription, so I gotta wait on that because I think it's also up to I think it's also a supply chain situation because of the whole pandemic thing. So thanks COVID. Um, but yeah, that's that's a whole. I think I'm gonna make a video about that and just man, that's just bumming me out right now. It's not bumming me out a lot. It's just like I'm thinking about it and I'm like, dude, what are the odds of like, uh, yeah, the train just got super derailed there. It was like I was like on my way. Money was saved up. I was ready to get the F out of here, go to Canada. Doesn't happen, and I'm stuck here. And then I'm back in the hamster wheel of hell of having a job and like having to go do it every day. And it's like, oh man, stuck with it. And that's how healthcare works here with ACA. So it's like you're kind of just like can't get off, you're effed. So yeah, just a bunch of not good news, but it could be worse, I guess. But hey, I've got a bunch of video games to play, so there's that. So I guess I'll just jump into Monster Hunter here in a bit after I watch the news. Maybe make a Final Fantasy video, maybe not. I'm still thinking about it. But yeah, I'm sorry this chatting will take super long. That's just what happens. And I did kind of combine it at the end with a pickup video. So I picked up a bunch of games, and I could still go into like a bunch of stuff that I picked up in another video if I record the dashboard or the menus and my other stuff and be like, oh man, check out all these games. But that's a waste of time. So I'm not gonna do that. Anywho, that is it for this video. That's it for Time Tango for this month. So until you see or hear from me again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. There's links and stuff in the bottom for all the social stuff, whatever. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna make an Instagram or not. I might, just because it's like, dude, why not, right? But then I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, but then I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, like I was saying, that's it for this video. So until you see or hear from me again, thanks for watching, and I'm now signing off.